You're looking well. That was a long time ago. I gave it up when I lost a couple of good friends in a lab accident. Never had the courage to look back. It's better for everyone if I focus on healing the body instead of the soul. You know how it is. Fighting in the alleys, rumor of a plague, odd creatures skulking out of the wilderness. Someone somewhere always needs to get patched up. And when they need me, here I am. You know how it is.
You weren't alone either. There were others.
This may not be the prettiest part of town, but it's got the grinning Battle Rock.
You saved my life. He would have killed me, and all for a few coins.
Think nothing of it. Any law-abiding citizen would have done the same.
Paradise is getting more dangerous by the hour.
Nothing to see here, Envoy. The situation's under control. I caught this waste of life mugging a protected citizen. I just did what came naturally.
I thought all Paradisans were protected citizens.
These things happen from time to time. Inquisitor Ludwine understands. I assume you do too. Now that's what I like to hear. I leave you to your job, and you leave me to mine. You understand what it takes to maintain order. We're going to do great things with you around.
I'm not saying...
I wish...
You're the Adiran envoy, aren't you?
is that godlike, the Adiran envoy? You're the one who saves the ambassador from the strangle root, right? Interesting. Say, would you be up for helping out some down-on-their-luck Adirans who can't catch a break? Oh, heroic and observant, huh? Joking aside, I know this seems strange, but they helped me out when I needed it. I'm just trying to return the favor. A fair request. I was an animancer in Fjord, just through the mountains in Emerald Stair. A lot of Valian animancers came to Fjord to experiment without the restrictions that come from noble patronage. Well, it turned out my high-minded theories were more explosive than I had calculated. I washed out, disgraced. Then I left Emerald Stair and I lost myself in a bottle at the Grinning Balrog. Lawfled and Gladwine pulled me out of it. Oh, in the shantytown? Gelarde. Then I won't trouble you any longer, envoy. Farewell. Envoy.
Yeah, so close. But what's the point? It's useless without the Adra. Oh, you are a special one, you are. I thought all the godlikes were taken back, wherever they came from. Don't mean a thing by it. I'm glad to see not all the gods have abandoned us. I know we had one or two disappear lately. Gods took them back, I heard. Just another sign, I guess. You should know, this place is heading quickly into a swamp of madness. Even the plants and the animals feel it. I would say welcome to the living lands, but things have gotten even stranger lately. Sapiento di Falva, alchemist and dreamer, at your service. My latest experiment was meant to solve the scourge that has come over the local flora and fauna, but it wasn't meant to be. I expected my main reagent to be delivered today, but I suppose the gods had other ideas. Awakened Adra has already failed me. No, I have the misfortune of requiring luminous Adra for this experiment. The gentlemen who are supposed to acquire my Adra have not delivered it, and they seem to be avoiding me, as if they fear my wrath. Which is impossible. Yes, I thought so too. But they offered a very sensible deal and swore they had a supplier. Certainly seemed honest to me. My friends must have lied. Or they got the Adra and they lost it. I can't imagine why else they would be acting so strange about it. Interesting that you think I'd name names while talking to the newly arrived envoy from Adir. But yes, Adelgund, often by the western gate, she knew some animancers and she might know something. Hmm? I'd be very grateful. I know it looks like I'm crying, but it's from the acrid fumes I inhaled earlier. Hmm? Any luminous adra will do, he said, as if the stuff were falling from the sky.
The affairs of men have no place at this tree.
Oh, it just doesn't work. What do you want? Quickly! I have an audience waiting for me. Nursing their headaches, I assume? My friends thought it'd be funny to get roaring drunk last night. Only one showed up today, and he was in no shape to perform. They've all gathered out there, and I don't have a show to give them. I can't play every part myself. I just can't. I suppose they wouldn't object to a one-man show? The question is, which one? I've only memorized a few. I could do Beltramo's Lament, or the Deerwood Tree, or maybe the May Queen's Conquest. Yes, that should do perfectly. Thank you again, my friend. Now to go out and face them. You've been very kind. Thank you.
I always thought they should move to High Market. Then they'd make enough to eat.
Dear listeners, a solo performance I have for you today. Prepare to be awed by feats of verse and memory. But before the show begins, perhaps a demonstration to whet your appetites. Follow me on an auditory adventure, a tour of the living lands and its most wild creatures. First, let me introduce you to the mating call of the Stelgo, the ruin of so many. A silent and stealthy feline. Few have heard its call, and fewer still have lived to tell the tale. Hold your applause, my dear friends. There's more to come. Perhaps you've heard the Vism Stelgar before. After all, just a small few have lived after running into one. But have you ever heard the distress call of Vism Bellarok? Of course not! Bellarocks live deep within the living land, rarely seen by any brave souls. And if you are unlucky enough to face this scaled abomination, they are dangerous teeth to tails. Now, when you hear this, I must ask that you remain where you stand. There's nothing to fear. All is well. I'm sure. not. But fear not. It is only I. Thank you all for your time. My name is the Guru, and it has been an honor to perform for you. Allow me just a brief intermission, and I promise yet more to dazzle and delight you. Let me tell you, priestesses of Mordecai may preach, but they find themselves such.
Envoy. A pleasure, Envoy. I'm Aldrich, the bounty master of Paradise. If it suits your fancy, check the board for work. A dangerous kind. Some more than others. Speak to me when you've got something to turn in. Hey, someone had to take the job. Ensuring that these threats to the good people of Paradise are eliminated is my way of helping. I guess I consider it my first steps down a long road to atonement. Apologies, friend. But that's none of your concern. I left there for a reason. And now I'm here. And that's all you need to know. Be safe out there, you hear? You're brave, so... Oh. Going to take on the... Yo, Tim... Ain't many ways into that camp from what I... Welcome back, Envoy. Show it here. I don't envy you having gone into that horrid place. But I'm thankful you did so. Good. Too many good men and women died because of that bastard. May he face Magran's fires in his next life. Be safe out there.
Step right up. I can tell you need more fire in your life. Or maybe more essence. Please buy something. I'm trying to prove a point. My sister, the blacksmith, she doesn't think this will work out. I say she's wrong. Why keep a dagger under your pillow when you can use a ward stone instead? See? You understand. It's not cheating. It's being prepared. Of course not. I wouldn't sell you something I thought would kill you. That's not good for business. Oh dear. Yes, that could have some unintended results. All right, that one's not for sale. What else can I interest you in?
You can't be serious. That much for one rack of ribs?
It's the adherence. I'm sorry. Never knew armies ate so much meat. There's barely any left. left for the rest of us.
I don't believe me and my family.
What is it? Sorry. The prices are the prices. Huh? What is it?
Back for more supplies. You wouldn't believe how my new friend eats. The local animancer, if you can believe it. Sapiento vouched for me. He wants to study my soul. Mainly, he just asks a lot of strange questions. Could be worse. Every day is different, that's for sure. But I like it. It's made me realize how dull my life was before. Anyway, I'm not sure what kind of favor I could owe you, but I owe you one. Thank you. So much to do.
Sorry. The prices are the prices. Huh?
You there. You look like you know your way around... hello. I heard what happened. I see why you'd want to protect yourself. Probably because I made them. Or most of them, anyway. I've already been paid for them. If Volter happens to stumble onto them later, what can I do? You mean enchanted? No. A shield does its job just fine. It doesn't need to be tinkered with. Talk to my sister if you're interested in that kind of thing. She's over there. At least I don't think she's blown herself up yet. I don't know where she gets it. I'd swear she was adopted if we didn't look alike. 3 generations of hammering. And then she comes along. Guess souls are strange like that.
Don't go starting trouble.
Don't just stand there. Come in. The Ballaroc's always open.
Do you mind? What's wrong with your face?
When you catch your killer, make sure it hurts.
What's going on back there? Don't just stand there. Come in. The Ballaroc's always open. Sit down. What do you want? If you want information, I've got it. Just a matter of what you'll pay for it. I hear there's trouble out in Thirdborn. They're blocking the roads off, and they won't tell anybody why. Suit yourself. Just... welcome back. As opposed to what? Some of my crewmates smoked it when I sailed with the Principe. Figured if any of them ever washed up here, they'd want a place to land. If you want information... it's getting more expensive to bring produce in from Fjord. Whatever's going on, that doesn't bode well. The locals are worried about the steel garrote coming into town. Whatever Wodica wants, she's bound to find it. Just stand there. Come in. The Baloroc's always open.
Are you absolutely sure you know what you're getting into?
I can't, didn't I? Now, will you do the job or not?
Your husband is a hard man to touch.
I can pay whatever you ask. That'll teach him not to run off with my inheritance.
I don't have time for another prospect.
Mind your own business.
Ease off, stranger.
Don't just stand there. Come in.
Well, I can't say I've met one like you before, but I'm sure you hear that all the time. No, of course not. These belong to my grandmother. They're all I have left of her. I can understand the confusion, though. I'm about to place these in storage, locked safely away. Yes. Oh, heavens no. I would never treat with such folk. But I know who would. Look for Remio up in the Pearl District, and who knows where Adelgund wandered off to now. Couldn't stay away, could you? Oh, no. Stand where you must, darling. I appreciate the view. Couldn't stay... Huh? Yes, I prefer to sit with them for a moment. I do so love my departed grandmother.
You know what you're doing. You there. Are you just going to stand there and
Yo, what are you doing? This is a crime scene. That's... I've seen what...
Envoy?
Huh?
Envoy?
I've seen worse. We'll get to the bottom of this.
Someone went to a lot of trouble to make sure that wouldn't be found.
Envoy, got a situation over here. Oh, good. You came over. Glad to see you're up and about.
For fuck's sake, can we move this along? I don't have all day.
The same thing we deal with every day. Most of us are off searching for the ones who attacked you. That leaves us shorthanded, so people like her try to sneak in. I caught this one, but I have to check her cart for contraband. There's a lot to dig through. Find anything? I knew you were hiding something. You'd better have an ironclad explanation for this.
I don't know anything. Someone's trying to set me up.
Thanks for the help, Envoy. I think I can handle it from here.
Thanks for nothing.
An interesting day so far. An interesting day indeed. Well, I'll be chomped by a Zarep queen. You're that godlike from the docks. No problem. Been an unusual day, is all. I can't believe my luck. Nothing all year, and then boom, interesting strangers just falling out of the sky. Indeed, a young dwarf and his crew stopped by. Seemed agitated, like they were afraid of someone. They were asking all sorts of people. Seems like I was the only one willing to really speak to them. They were asking where they could find luminous Ardra, of all things. Can't imagine what they'd needed it for. I said they were most likely out of luck, but I might know somewhere they might find some if they looked hard enough. Well, well, you've done your reading. You're exactly right. Not long ago, a group of animancers looked to carry out some experiments into teleportation. They carried their instruments and a healthy supply of luminous Adra to the island of Castel's Folly. It's possible there's some still there. Oh, I'm afraid not. No, those people were never seen again. That's why I think their Adra might still be there. Question, why are you looking for those sailors? Did the Valian captain send you? I don't know much, but one of the smugglers whispered the name Captain Bardato and spit on the ground. The name sounded Valian to me. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. Oh no. I imagine a Valian sea captain knows better than to spend time among all these Adiran soldiers. The folks you're looking for are probably getting themselves killed searching for Ardra that probably isn't there. I can tell you wouldn't listen to me if I warned you not to go to Castel's Folly, so I wish you luck. I hope you find those people you're looking for. Careful on Castel's Folly.
Sometimes we get more contraband coming through here than honest goods. Wouldn't want their diplomats going hungry or sober. Guess adherent discipline doesn't apply to pest control. You're on my side. Another win, but who's counting? Aye, aye. I don't think the new owners like... Another one down. Right behind you. You're mine now! Ready, aim.
Mine?
wish that Sawbones would hurry up. Wow, it's really you. I mean, we all heard the Emperor sent a godlike, but I didn't never think I'd get to meet you. You are the envoy, aren't you? I bow, but I think I dislocated my shoulder, and I might have broken some ribs. Is that the lady who brought you back from the dead? Tej, the ambassador's secretary. He told me you got sniped the second you walked through the gate. Thwack! I couldn't believe it. I mean, talk about getting off on the wrong foot. Anyway, don't worry about me. The Sawbones is going to escort me to the clinic any minute. And I'm not exactly in a hurry to see him. Not until I get help from my brother.
If Adir's medics are anything like Rowatai's, we'll hear your screams from 3 blocks away.
Oh, good. That'll be a lot of fun for everyone. My brother, Cadman, and I ran into some trouble exploring a temple north of the city. Bears and traps and guards. What else? The floor collapsed from under us. He couldn't walk too well, and yet our captain wanted to keep going, so he sent me back for help. We're with a team from the Free Expedition Corps. We've seen a lot, but no place like this. I fear for their lives, Envoy. We don't make it to the High Crown Court much. Something about dirt on the throne room rug. We mostly operate out of the Cartographers Guild. At least it's cozier than the soldiers' barracks. And they let me copy their maps. Most of the places we go aren't as treacherous as this temple, though. It's built on ruins, and the ruins are falling apart. Because of the roots, you know, and the earthquakes. We're looking for the man who built the temple, someone the locals call the Oracle. He's well, he's like you. A godlike. All the gods but one, I guess. Because this Oracle, he belongs to Aethys. And if the rumors are true, he's the very last of his kind.
Take it from me. Around here, the rumors always have some truth to them.
We just want to talk to him. That's why we went down there. Now my brother's hurt, and my team's in danger, and I'm stuck here and...
Take it easy, kid.
Sorry. Everyone at the embassy's too busy to help me, and I'm worried sick.
Not much. He doesn't get out often. But I've heard he's hundreds of years old and only speaks to godlikes. So, he probably hasn't seen much company in a while. Can't say I blame him. People still fault Aethys for the Saints' War, and that was 25 years ago. If I were the earthly avatar of everyone's least favorite god, I'd go into hiding too.
If nobody wants him here, then he should leave. This Oracle, he set himself up in a godless ruin. Turned it into a temple to Aethys, right? Supposedly, he built the whole place up just to house a holy relic. A bone from Aethys' Titan. Exactly! But how do you know about that? I don't remember seeing you at one of our lectures. I didn't think anyone read those. I used to haunt those stacks as a first year. Before I got recruited to expeditions, I mean. Yeda, our captain, she believes these Titan skeletons are what's left of the gods' physical bodies. They used to get up and walk around. And this godlike, he's got a piece of the one that belonged to Aethys. That's what my team is down there to confirm, anyway. Well, if that relic really is what it's said to be, and if it can heal the sick like it's said to do, it can't stay here. Not in some dank hole in this mouldering backwater. Not when it can help our people with the Dream Scourge. Or help people back home who deserve it more. And yet is determined to get that relic, no matter the risks. The rewards are just too great.
But
Envoy, I'm afraid it's a lie. And they're all going to die down there for nothing. Gods, do you mean it? I can't thank you enough. They descended into the temple through a route off the Pilgrim's Path, just north of the city. You'll know you're headed the right way when you see trail markers and rock stacks the Pilgrims left behind. We posted a guard out front, Sedgwin. Let her know I sent you, and she'll let you pass. Well, I gather there were folks who worshipped Aethys. And they'd come to this temple from all over the Living Lands to pray, or be healed, or to ask forgiveness. But Aethys isn't too popular these days, so...
So, most people don't go there anymore.
Right. Exactly. This Oracle. I don't know if he's dangerous, but he's supposed to carry a sword full of diamonds. I'll probably never get to see it now. Especially my brother, Cadman. Don't forget him. You'll probably find the expedition with the relic we were searching for. Whatever that is. Thank you for hearing me out, Envoy.
I'll take him to the mermaid's den after this. That's what I'll do. You died. But you're here. Gods, am I glad to see you. You've got some god looking out for you. None of the clerks believe my... story. Still can't believe you're alive.
Envoy, hello. I'm glad to see you on your feet. Kai.
Tej.
I'm surprised they let you in here.
I'm surprised you're still gainfully employed.
I wouldn't say that. He's just curious company for you to keep. It's nothing like that. You run into all sorts of characters around here, is all. Some more polite than others.
Well,
Kai?
come on, it's funny. Tej caused a ruckus last time he was slumming it at the Ballarrock. You were trying to kill a man, if I remember right. I had to put you outside.
You threw me into the canal.
You lived.
That water's filthy. I had the runs for 3 days.
Gods, Tej. The envoy doesn't need to know that.
The fellow cheated me. I couldn't let that slide. Or he'd think we were all marks.
It was over a dice game, right? Tej here has a gambling problem.
Great. Let's air all my troubles. Is there anything else?
The bartender sleeping with your girlfriend.
You're lying.
You sure about that?
We'll talk about this later.
I'm not breaking up with her for you. Just so we're clear.
That's more than enough. Thank you. Was there anything I could help you with, Envoy? The 7-foot-tall Almawa with biceps the size of my head? No, I am not.
Flatterer. You know I'm barely over 6.5.
Naturally, Mom. How can I help you? What would you like to know? If you're looking for a particular year, the first thing you should know about Paradise is that this isn't the kind of place where the locals keep records. And though it might be considered a distant backwater by the rest of the world, this city is the height of civilization by the standards of the living lands. As for who calls this place home, I suspect you could find a criminal, confidence man, or prophet from every civilization in the world here.
Hey, come on. You're gonna give the envoy the wrong idea. We've got draft dodgers, courtesans, and revolutionaries, too. You know, all the fun people.
In any event, as far as I can tell, Paradise has been this way since its inception. Thus the eclectic display of architectural styles. If nothing else, this city is a reflection of the countless people who have passed through it on their way to the interior. Depends on who you ask. Ambassador Heelgard will tell you that our remit here is to establish a secure and orderly environment from which to engage in trade. Inquisitor Liudwin will tell you we're here to break the frontier.
So, which is it?
Why not both? That's where you come in. Whether you find your desires aligning with the ambassadors or the inquisitors, neither can succeed until the Dream Scourge is ended. We are only beginning to see its effects here in Dawnshore, but the closer to the center of the island you go, the worse it gets. That bear you and the ambassador encountered in the Strangle Route isn't even the worst of it, and the tide of this soul plague is rising higher every day. Look, for all that I complain about this backwater, there are good people here. Same as anywhere else. People who want to be able to walk to the market in the morning for their bread and eggs and know they won't be mugged. People who like it when the mail comes on time, and their skates are made from real copper, and their neighborhood peeping Tom ends up in the stocks. Those people, good and honest people, who pay their debts and honor their contracts and remember to thank the gods. They like us a lot. The Resistance, as such, are largely a group of misfits and criminals intent on undermining the rule of law. They take out loans with small Adiran banking houses and do not pay them, then assault the bankers who attempt to collect. They agree to contracts with families in Adir seeking homes, and when their ships arrive, promptly abandon them. When we levy a small tax to fund the repair of city roads, they set our counting house on fire. And when our fishermen return to port, they board their ships and sink them.
That's certainly one way to characterize them. It's not exactly wrong, but it's not exactly right either.
For decades, people like them ruled this city through fear. We imposed order, and now they oppose us. You, unfortunately, were caught in the crossfire. I'm an open book. There's a lot of ground to cover. Could you be more specific? Ah, the age-old question. Who's bigger? Adir is, naturally, by a wide margin. And were we at the Cartographers Guild in High Crown, I could show you on one of their globes. As it is, we must make do in the theater of our minds. The Living Lands are located in the far north of Aora. Adir is southwest of the Living Lands, situated along the equator. The Living Lands are more arid than Adir, and the island is more prone to storms. But its many deep valleys protect the various townships from the worst of the weather. Topographically speaking, the Living Lands are a place of extremes. Deep inland, mountains rise high enough to rival those of the White March, blanketed year-round in snow. While east of the volcano of Mount Forja is an acid sea that sinks far below the level of the ocean. The lands between them are riven with deep clefts in the earth and isolated by wastelands of sun-baked sand dunes. I'll share what I can. There is no singular authority in the Living Lands.
Not yet, anyway.
I shudder to think what the Living Lands would look like under your rule.
Well, to start, there'd be a lot more brothels.
Charming. Power is invested in the leaders of the various townships scattered across the island. The largest are Fjord, Thirdborn, and Solace. None of which, I will note, are as safe and orderly as Paradise. Fjord Messeverno is located in a valley known locally as the Emerald Stair, named for the terraced rice paddies that cover its hillsides. It is our closest neighbor. The city, if you can call it that, was founded 50 years ago by animancers from the Valian Republics. Apparently, the laws governing animancy weren't lenient enough in the Republics. So the city's founders came to the Living Lands, where they could practice their discipline more freely. Currently, Fjord is governed by a man named Ignacy Vidaro. Rather inept to hear the ambassador talk about him. Fjord's farmers supply most of the grain and vegetables we eat here in Paradise. Or it did. Their shipments have been infrequent lately. Something about a blight in the fields. In any event, I believe that covers Fjord. The Valian Republics are a collection of city-states in the Eastern Reach, southeast of our former colony, the Deerwood. The Republics began life as colonies of the Grand Empire of Valia, hence the name. But as Grand Valia's economy collapsed, well, the colonies saw an opportunity to escape the influence of the Empire of Origin, and they seceded, much as the Deerwood did from Adir. Now a mature confederation in their own right, the Republics have recently indulged their own expansionist ambitions in the Deadfire Archipelago. Through their merchants in the Valian Trading Company, the Republics will sell you anything you could ever wish to buy.
Up to and including people.
We should count ourselves lucky they've had no interest in the Living Lands. In a struggle between our Emperor and the Republic's great dukes, well, I doubt we would come out on top. But if anyone asks, I was not the one who told you that. Everything you need to know about Thirdborn is in its name. It was founded by the third-born children of Rawatai, Navy dropouts, smugglers, and hands for hire. Almawa and Orleans, mostly.
Home, sweet home.
You're free to go back any time you like.
I like my current circumstances just fine, thanks.
They are people, in short, who couldn't cut it in the civilized world and had to make room on the margins. Unfortunately, they are currently besieged by the Dream Scourge. We have sent some troops to lend what help we can, and the mayor, Temerity, was appropriately grateful, but I don't know how long they'll hold out. Rawatai is one of the old empires, every bit as storied as Grand Valia or our native Adir. If Adir is to the southwest of the Living Lands, Rawatai is to the southeast. And unlike our home, that small continent is racked by terrible storms. This is due, or rather, was due, to the island's proximity to Andra's mortar, the unending super hurricane that once hid the ancient city of Ukaizo. Rawatai is largely peopled by Almawa, descended from those who fled the Deadfire Archipelago centuries ago, when Andra pulled the moon, Ioni Brather, into the sea. They are an aggressive, militant culture, and personally, I find their obsession with gunpowder rather quaint. They are also our chief rivals on the world stage.
I don't think they see it that way.
No?
Well, as far as Navy brass is concerned, Adir doesn't really rate.
Now you're just making things up.
Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but we don't think about you at all.
Solace is, what is there to say, really?
Yeah, they tend to have that effect on people.
The trouble is, I don't know much about Solace. Nobody does. They are an isolationist community of Pagrunan dwarves who live in the forbidding ways of Galawain's tusks. They don't let outsiders into their lands, and they don't let their people out of them.
Some folks get out from time to time, but they can't ever go back. And the ones who survive aren't eager to talk about their experiences.
People aside, the land itself is incredibly hostile. The island's volcano, Mount Forja, rests at the heart of the region, and it's recently become active. Half the land is lava rock, and the other half is, well, literally lava. I don't know why anyone lives there. I have to assume they're all insane.
You have no idea.
Naturally. The Pagrunan are a unique community of mountain dwarves originating in Old Valia. As a people, they've made their name as explorers, builders, miners. No doubt you've seen their ruins in your travels, here, back home in Adir, and all across the world. They maintain a rich tradition of oral storytelling, chanted magics, and ritual carving, which they take great pains to record and transmit across their various communities. Even the most physically isolated Pagrun is not alone. Somewhere, one of their people is thinking of them and planning an expedition. Abidan must cherish them.
You sound like you admire them.
I suppose I do. By all means. Consider yourself lucky. Inquisitor Ludwine is the commander of the Steel Garrote in Paradise. Were you to ask her, she'd say she keeps the peace. But she doesn't keep it so much as prosecute it. As ruthlessly as the ambassador will let her. She's also a veteran of the Steel Garrote's campaign in the Deadfire, where she died.
She's a Death Guard. Well, that explains a lot.
I don't know what happened to her there, but I suppose Wodika wasn't done with her yet. Cryptic Neil! I remember him fondly. I took every upper-level course the university offered on memory and recall to circumvent the Walian glamour on him. And even then, it only barely worked. I had to look at him out of the corner of my eye and half cross them while thinking of something dreadfully boring like, grimoire repair. On the upside, it's made me an exceptional clerk. But that's neither here nor there. We were discussing death guards. Death guards are surpassingly rare. Some of the secretaries who traveled with our dignitaries in the Deadfire spoke of one named Iser, a devotee of Berith, who guards the hanging sepulchres there. But I have heard of none others except those I've read about in the histories. They are people, most often paladins or priests, so devoted to a cause that they simply refuse to pass on to the wheel when they die. Their soul haunts their body. The passion required to sustain them devours their flesh, and they swiftly turn to bone. I've never read a history nor tale of a death guard that did not end with them going quite mad. When they lose their capacity to care for anything but their cause, they cannot love. And when they cannot love, they cannot be merciful. And so everything before them becomes only an obstacle. I only met her once. She was a mid-level member of the Steel Garrote then, chasing oathbreakers who'd fled Adiran law. She'd come back to the Imperial Archives to borrow a map to a place called Oathbinder's Sanctum. I remember she was furious because the map was quite poor. She worried about finding the place, about properly executing her duty to her god. She wanted, I think, to do a good job. So, while clearly she has changed, in some sense, I'd say she's much the same. Think upon your promises and die. That's the litany of the Steel Garrote, usually said right before they kill you. They're an order of paladins born and bred in Adir, though clearly they've found plenty of work beyond our borders. Their remit is simple but comprehensive. They punish all who break their oaths. In practice, that has historically meant contracts. One lord or merchant will hire the Steel Garrote to bring a duplicitous rival to justice.
Fun bunch. What are they doing in Paradise?
Since the events in the Deadfire, their operations have expanded. The Steel Garrote has always been associated with Wodica. Now, they are explicitly her order. And they go wherever Wodica's priests, or Wodica herself, believes there is a need for them to go. The Living Lands are a dangerous, lawless frontier in sore need of order. Thus, they are here. Or so the Steel Garrote say. Do you think so? I've always found her inflexibility comforting. Wodica's edicts are clear. If you obey her laws, pursue justice, punish the guilty, and give fealty to the Emperor, then you have pleased her, and I aim to please. But Wodica does not trust. She demands that you declare yourself for her again and again. Her every request is a test, and her every test is an opportunity to disappoint her. I appreciate a god who makes you work for their grace. I don't want anything given to me for free. Should you ever need me, I will be here. Safe travels, Envoy. Envoy, glad to see you're still with us. How can I help you? I trust whomever told you to consult a Watcher also told you to avoid the one in the city. She is a liar and a thief.
Oh, did you take your money?
No. Anyway, Watchers are individuals capable of perceiving souls. The soul may be in a living body, or it may simply be lingering, waiting to pass into the in-between. In either case, interacting with a soul allows a Watcher to glimpse a person's past lives or their most deeply buried memories. Watchers are incredibly rare, and in Adir, highly controlled. Many people wish to know who they were in a previous life, and do not like what they learn. The smart ones stay hidden, they do not announce their powers, perhaps not even to themselves. Even a careful watcher risks inadvertently revealing themselves by knowing something they shouldn't know. Of the ones that are public, little is concretely known. But we hear things. They make good judges in Wurka's courts, so long as they're controlled. The lords, it's rumored, buy and sell them to collect blackmail on their enemies. But I suspect many watchers are imprisoned or executed, or simply kill themselves. A watcher doesn't need your cooperation or consent to read your soul. They could learn everything about you, terribly damaging things about your parentage, for example, or things you did in a past life, without you ever knowing. You see how this could threaten the established order, undermine our betters' right to rule.
Yeah, but that's just one side to it. Imagine how a watcher feels, knowing what a threat they are to the status quo. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be keen on kings and emperors wanting me dead. Sounds like a lot of hassle.
Don't sell yourself short, Kai. I don't doubt you're an expert in people wanting you dead.
You're not wrong.
I rarely am. In any case, the Watcher is fundamentally a tragic figure. Of the few that survive our world, most are destined to go mad. Yes and no. So far as I understand it, a Watcher is born a Watcher. But it takes an event, often something shocking or traumatic, to bring a Watcher's powers to the fore. So you may be a Watcher, or I may be, or Kai, and we might not even know.
Well, the Watcher of Cadnua is legendary. It was their castle Aethys destroyed when he began his campaign of terror in the Dead Fire. Oh, by the Queen, I hope I get to meet them someday. In terms of local interest, you'll have heard of Runid, of course. And there was Ida. You may not know about her. She was a Watcher from the Living Lands. I believe she was an Orlan. She must have died, 150 years ago. Slain by a great serpent, gods treat kindly with her soul.
Doubtless there are others, but most don't meet a good end. Of course. Freak, I did. Terrible shame what happened to his brother. It sounds like his injuries were severe. I saw you two talking. I hope you can help him, Envoy. I don't mean to twist your arm, but don't delay too long. There have been earthquakes in the region lately. Floods, cave-ins. Gods know what else is possible down in that cave. You're the only one we have with the expertise for that kind of field work.
Aside from the people in trouble down there, which says something to the danger in that cave.
Whatever I think of the Expeditions Corps, they serve a vital purpose to the Empire. I'm glad it's you going after them. Well, you'll notice I'm nearly always here. If that man sleeps, I don't know about it. He wouldn't say, but I believe he relied on the Claviger far more than he lets on. And without the Claviger's steady hand at the rudder, the ambassador's struggling just to bail water from the sinking ship that is Paradise.
Claviger Aemon might have tolerated a little more chaos than the ambassador liked, but he kept this place humming. He's not someone you can easily replace, and not with one man alone.
It's a difficult job. The pressure sometimes gets the better of him. But if he loses his temper now and then, I can't blame him for it. Better him than me. He doesn't know what to do with himself. You know, in our first days here, he'd often walk to the end of the docks at sunrise. The work was done, the embassy was closed, and he'd still be wearing the same clothes he'd slept in at his desk. And he'd just stare out over the sea. He always seemed dissatisfied back then. I suppose, years later, he still does. Oh, be serious. Most of us here didn't get sent to the frontier because we were anybody's favorite. The longer I'm here, the more likely the people who matter are to forget me. And I'd actually like to get back to High Crown someday. Get married, have a few kids,
take the civil exams and settle into a permanent clerkship.
I guess there are worse ways to spend a life.
Like rotting in this embassy. By all means. Safe travels, envoy.
Envoy, is it really you?
I can't believe you're alive. When they dragged you to Liviana's clinic, I assumed the worst. How do you feel? Not even death can slow you down, I see. But we'll return to the topic of your untimely demise shortly. Our first order of business is your purpose here in the Living Lands. You said you had a missive for me from the Emperor? Very good. I'm eager to see what our Emperor intends. Now, His Majesty names you a loyal servant of the Adiran Empire, and an extension of the throne's authority. Thank goodness. At least someone understands the gravity of our situation. With that, I have better news for him. You've seen how wild the Living Lands has become, both in nature and in politics. Sometimes I think the island has a mind of its own. No sooner had you arrived than you found yourself at the center of our troubles. Well, not to mention your abrupt and untimely death. This embassy has no shortage of political foes, but the Dream Scourge is what keeps me up at night. You've seen firsthand what it can do in nature. We can't let it reach the cities. Inquisitor Ludwig thinks the plague is a distraction. She's more concerned about these local rebels fighting against the Empire. At least rebels know the meaning of negotiation and compromise. But a plague kills indiscriminately. Though, even I must admit, the rebels have gone too far. They've sabotaged our work, killed our soldiers, and the final straw, attacked you out in the open. Something about a labor dispute gone wrong, I think. The Steel Garrote got involved, and it turned quite ugly.
A lot of disputes arise because people here have a strong aversion to being told what to do.
I won't lie to you, Envoy. Our position is tenuous. If we can't even defend ourselves, how are we to defend the living lands? But defend it we must, for the sake of everyone who calls this island home. Inquisitor Ludwig demands that someone hang for the attempt on your life. These Paradisen rebels must face justice. True, but you can't investigate the Dream Scourge if you're dead.
Not many get a chance to solve their own murder, you know. I know someone who could help. A dwarven tracker named Marius. Kith or beast, there's little he can't find. He's staying at the Grinning Ballarrock, not far from Liviana's infirmary. We just take the main road east to the market, then head down the stairs and cross the canal. Rough part of town, even by the standards of Paradise. No, but this is the Paradisen's home. They're very good at hiding here. And Marius is good at finding things that want to remain hidden. Marius is from the Tusks, about the harshest and remotest place the gods ever created, even by the standards of the living lands.
Trickery, lies. The gods did not build this place.
Let's just say no one survives out there without picking up a few skills, the kind we'll need if we're going to find hidden assassins. Especially if they're from the streets of Paradise.
I suggest you recruit as many allies as you can, but choose carefully. They, like you, will represent the Empire. But before we can send you off to parts unknown, we need assurances from the local healer that you're fully recovered. After all, you survived a brush with death. The health of your body is one thing, the health of your soul is another. I'm sure that a scholar of your prestige is more than capable of self-diagnosis, but time is of the essence. Remember, the assassin is out there. You have the element of surprise. I suggest you use it. You'll have tales aplenty, that's for certain. And a long tapestry of battle scars. We'll talk more of the Dream Scourge when you return. Until then, Envoy.
How about we start with Marius at the Grinning Ballarrock? Besides, I could use a drink after all this.
I can't tell you how grateful I am that you survived the attempt on your life. But let's not dwell on unpleasant matters.
I'll keep trying. But there's not much to be done for Fort Northreach.
I just don't get it. It's like there's something in the soil this year.
Trading Company seeks a criminal known as Trevik. Trevik and his crew are believed armed and deadly. Fishermen need coin? See Sansa in Hightown. He seeks explorers to assist him in mapping the living lands.
Listen, this is something I never thought I'd have to ask, but can we talk about you coming back from the dead? I saw you take an arrow to the gut and collapse. Your skin went cold and you stopped moving. It happened fast. By the time I got you to Liviana's, I don't think you had a pulse. You certainly weren't breathing. You must have spent 20 minutes as a corpse on one of her cots before you just came back. What did you see while you were gone? What do you remember? The beyond. That's the realm of the gods, of souls. I can't imagine otherwise. What did you see there? Wait, someone? Who was it, or what was it? As I understand it, souls move through the beyond on the way to their next life. You'd know more about it than I do, though. So, someone is reaching out to you from the beyond. They saved you from death, and now they want you to free them from wherever they are. Do you trust them? That's wise. Well, even in the land of the strange, you have had the strangest experience I've ever heard of, and you haven't even left Dawnshore. That's quite a feat. You're welcome. So, this whole time you were in the beyond, and then you were just sent back. Do you think there's a way to bring people back from the dead? That doesn't stop them from trying, I guess. Still, thanks for humoring me. You must be tired. I know I am. Hopefully that Watcher Runid will have some answers for us. For now, let's get some rest. Rebellion's more like our natural state of being in the living lands. People on the island don't much like being told what to do. In fact, many come here specifically for that reason. Paradise used to be a lot more violent. Now, bandits like the Sparrowhawks at least have to limit their activities. Of course, that change has come thanks to Ambassador Heelguard's Adiran troops. And the Stilgarrote. Ludwine and her paladins have been busy in the hinterlands. It's all rumor and speculation, but I don't think they're making your cause any friends. They say she's hunting down so-called agitators, flattening entire settlements that stand in her way. Of course, all the news reaching Paradise is jumbled together. Stories about the Dream Scourge, the Stilgarrote, and the weird happenings that are almost commonplace around here. So it's hard to say what's true. I think you're right. I don't know that these rebels are all that organized yet. But where there's foam, there's rocks, as the saying goes. So did my commanding officers. What do you want to know? We should be safe enough, but I'll take watch, just in case.
word says that healing has come to the Strangle Root outside of town. Still, it will be some time before it returns
Walk
to
in.
former glory.
You don't have to say anything. The letter will do the talking for you. Sort of. Maybe you can help. I was seeing this girl, Nasha, down at the bathhouse. I'm sure it was just business at first, but we fell in love. I haven't been in a while, though. And the thing is, I've met someone else. That's what everyone tells me. They just couldn't see what we had. I wrote her a letter, but I'm too cowardly to deliver it. If you're headed that way, would you mind giving it to her? Thank you. I used to wonder why no one talked about this. Now I understand. Nasha should be working right now. The place is called the Mermaid's Den. It's the big one with the balcony and the round window. This may be the most foolish thing I've ever gotten myself into.
Must not be hiring.
I wouldn't go up there, stranger. That's Sparrowhawk territory. Hail! I take it you're new to these parts? If so, you're going to want to heed my advice. Up these stairs is the Pearl District. Ever since the Sparrowhawks took over, it's become a right deadly place. A group of smugglers, vicious killers, the lot of them, as far as I'm concerned. A number of artisans actually support these piles of Stelgar dung, if you can believe it. They see them as a beacon of independence, resisting your countrymen. Oh, watch out for their leader. He's a big, mean bastard, that one.
Big? No offense, but I've eaten chickens bigger than you.
Says you, fishman. Can you believe the cheek on that one? Thala the Taskmaster, they call him. An ogre, if you can believe it. Only seen him once, myself, and I hope it stays that way. I hope you're right. We'll see soon enough, eh?
Adherents ain't welcome around the Pearl District. Mind yourself.
Coming in hot. Unseen, unheard. I was just getting warmed up.
So, you're the one they all crow about, eh? Best hunter and guide in all
Welcome
of
back.
Dawnshore?
Just Dawnshore? Whew, must be slipping.
Ha! The mighty Marius, deep in his cups, ready to take on the deadliest prey, providing they're asleep at the time.
Right. Take another sip of my cool. Rude not to finish a drink someone bought for you.
No wonder you're hiding behind a mug. You're too worried about being polite to survive out there.
The dwarf there is Marius. Best tracker I know.
I heard you're from Solace Keep. How great a survivor could you be, hiding behind stone walls all your life?
You don't know anything about me, you Adira Nimdut. So maybe go back and take another blessed day sip.
But here you are. Tell me, how does one get kicked out of a place that never lets anyone leave?
Dukte Drago Sakasapt Jatule. You wanna talk so much, I'll cut you a second mouth across your throat.
Marius can handle himself. Of course, if you're bored, we could always start something anyway. I'm with you. Ready to crack some heads.
You stay out of it, Envoy. This isn't your problem. Nothing's over until I say it is. Come on, Meili. Let's show these people why you don't pick fights in the Ballarok.
Found you! Get your ass!
I'll burn and survive.
When you had the chance, Envoy.
Thanks, Marius. More blood.
Come on, Amakul. You know you love it. That's all. Well, that was something. Haven't been to bar fight in a while. Never really saw the point.
Marius, this is the infamous Adiran envoy. Envoy? Marius.
Well, any friend of Kai's is definitely a person.
We were both crossing the same patch of forest at the same time a couple years ago. There were some boars in heat I may have helped him with.
They were squirrels, and I had them well under control. If I'm not mistaken, you're looking for someone to help find the people who killed you. I've been keeping tabs on you since you got here. Godlike, looking like you do, and hauling Kai around like a sick puppy. I need to see the scene of the crime, over by the town gates. I promise there's something left there we can use to track them. Bloodstains, footprints, darts left behind. If we find anything at all, we can find your assassins. We'll figure this out, Amakul. Don't you worry. One moment.
No signs of a struggle. Looks like this adventure to me. Me?
I don't know. Break like that? It's hard to yourself.
I assume you intend to pursue this line of inquiry.
It's Paradise. If someone killed him, they'll get what's coming to them. Huh?
Damn this city. Every day, someone new to confront it.
If the militia had any formal instruction, they'd get it here.
I assume the city was still locked now.
Excuse me? What in the God's name are you talking about?
Think about it.
Hey, you're a
Nobody
damn
coming
good
in
shot,
now,
you know? Smugglers to look out
Oh,
for.
I'm well aware.
No more deerings
Thank you.
coming into
It's
the
very
city.
sweet.
Where'd you learn to shoot like
kinda have a fair point there.
You really want to know the answer to that question?
You know what? Maybe it's better that I don't.
Free to pass through the gate. Gate now.
One moment. Some lockdown, eh? People just seem to...
Paradise can be a nice place. If you know the right people.
You take lead.
One moment.
Ready for more.
Here it comes.
Stand back.
Ever setting foot on a ship in these waters. I promise you that.
This is the Sparrowhawks district. State your business. Things can happen to people who get too curious. Go on, but remember, Thal's got his eye on you. I wouldn't get on an ogre's bad side. Watch your back, or don't.
Let's leave them alone. They look worried for someone.
I'm sorry, I don't buy... That's it. That's my amulet. Daggerta gave me this. We had a fight, and she accused me of throwing it away before we left Deerwood. I did bring it with me, but I lost it while I was out, procuring more wares. I can't believe you found it. Perhaps, or perhaps our ship has sailed. Regardless, I'll know I have it. And that's enough for now. How can I even thank you? You don't know the weight you've lifted from my heart.
Tell me, it was you who found the amulet, yes? He lost it, but yes, I suppose he never tossed it away like I thought he did. Now I have some apologies to make. I can't say I'm thrilled about that. But maybe things can get better between us. With time, and abundant beverages.
Just act natural. Nothing weird going on here. Why is that one looking at me? I suggest not spending much money on this stuff. Leather bags travel a lot better. Where am I looking? I can't see it.
Best watch your step around here, envoy.
So, the puny godkin wishes to speak with the great Thala. You and your countrymen are not welcome in this district. My district. Is that clear? Not being welcome here doesn't mean you aren't tolerated. We're not fools enough to attack you or your kin unprovoked. I would be lying if I said I wasn't just waiting for the opportunity to crush you into the ground. One little slip in my district, Imperial Lapdog, and it'll be the last you ever make. No, little godkin. If I wished for a reason to spill your blood, you would already be a smear upon the cobblestones. Now be gone. Thala tires of your yammering. Has that face fungus clogged your ears as well? Away with you.
Let us in, sweetheart. I told you, we're closed. Not for us, you're not.
What's a man gotta do to get his needs met around here?
If you think we'll roll over
Whatever
after
a man
you
wins
steal
at
from
cards,
us.
he's bound
That's
to
exactly.
lose it here.
Go on. Go on. Juliana's inside. He doesn't bite. Go on. Juliana's inside. She doesn't bite. Unless
I don't see it. One moment.
At least Ventre Bordato.
What's the matter? Has he done something?
Yours is dead, that's all. He knows Ambassador Hilgard, so we can't throw him out either.
You don't have to listen to him. You just have to look like you are. Amazing that someone able to match your eyelids. Now there's a face I'd never forget.
You're the talk of the town, envoy. Everyone wants to meet you. Good nose. Hope you don't stick it in politics. They don't like envoys around here. They've been free for centuries. Surely you understand why they'd be nervous. Oh, that's a long story. Let's say it involved a dead duke and a bottle of quill leaf oil. I used to run Spirinto's finest bathhouse, if you can believe it. No, I don't. Every girl has the right to reinvent herself. Now, if you've come to avail yourself, I'm sorry. We're closed. I'm out of some supplies that should have been here days ago. I'd hunt them down myself, but I don't have a firm enough hand. I need someone with more authority. Someone, well, someone like you. It is. I never thought I'd be so glad to see one of these things. You're lucky you're honest. Otherwise, I'd scold you for those sticky hands. You're going to stop talking right now if you know what's good for you.
Careful. This shipment was smuggled for a reason.
All that education and you never learned to leave well enough alone. Don't you realize walls have ears? If you knew how much was at stake here, you wouldn't have brought it up. I'm the only one left for the people of Paradise to turn to. You had the Emperor's time. You could have done something about it.
Don't blame the envoy. The thing about emperors is, they make the rules however they please.
I'm no fool. I know what happens when the Steel Garrote comes to town. I saw them drag my mother off back home. One more midwife for their cause. I am not going to lie down and let you do the same to me. You can promise until you're blue in the face. What good does that do me? You'd do that? For me? I shouldn't believe you, but I do. I've heard godlike have a way with people that they can't explain. I'm sorry I had to keep you in the dark. Come back anytime. I'll leave the light on for you.
Good on you, envoy. If only more of your countrymen were as reasonable.
I'll be fine, but I'll remember that offer. You know, for a friend.
Ever thought about my line of work? You have the cheekbones for it.
I
wish that painter would come by more often.
I hope Elia's all right. I haven't seen her in an age.
Can't you see I'm busy?
Are you here to see Juliana? Or can I help you with something else? Belia? But she hasn't come by in a couple of months. Did something? Oh. Oh, I understand. Of course. It all makes sense now. That poor girl. She thinks everything that goes wrong is her fault. I'm glad she's found someone. Yes, I did. Just not in the way she thought I did. Or perhaps not in the way she wanted. Thank you for bringing that letter, though. I was worried about her. I'll send one back. That should make her feel better. I miss talking to Belia sometimes. But it's for the best.
One moment.
I can't stop worrying about the dream scotch. What if it happens to us?
Seems like you want to keep stuff like that in a warehouse.
If you don't take it, the adherents will. The other adherents, I mean.
If you'd like to be useful, I could use another drink. If you'd like to be useful, I could use another drink.
Enough. Huh. Aren't you the outlander who died in the streets? How are you... Gah. It doesn't matter.
You've got to help. He's gonna hurt me again.
Everyone take a deep breath. No one is hurting anyone else today. Right?
You seem to like beating up on little guys. Want to take a run at me?
Listen to me, dead woman. What happens here does not concern you. Walk away. You Addirans always think everyone's out to get you. If I wanted to kill you, you'd be dead already. This is getting tiresome. I wasn't really gonna hurt the apothecary, but I'm really, really gonna hurt you. Bullshit. I don't see any imp. And besides, they don't eat souls. Do they?
Stick around. Find out for yourself.
Hey, boss, maybe we shouldn't. Fighting a godlike seems wrong somehow.
I knew you'd gone soft. We'll settle this as soon as I'm done here.
Here we go! Come and get it!
Get him, boys!
There you are, Spook. This time, you're gonna stay dead.
Be safe!
One moment. Quiet as the devil.
Can't believe they're dead. It's over.
That's one for us.
Envoy, thank you for dealing with those miscreants. There's a plague on these streets, and they are a symptom.
A gang of bullies shaking down honest folk seems more like the cause to me.
It's no more dangerous here than anywhere else. It's just that monsters here have knives instead of fangs.
You even killed Thala, the biggest, baddest of them all. The Sparrowhawks are gonna come after you.
I'd prefer if you wouldn't keep inviting people to try to kill you, but sure, we've got you covered.
Don't I know it? Good help is hard to come by. You didn't have to come to my defense. No one sticks their neck out for anyone in these parts. It's not easy running a business in Paradise, but it can be profitable if you invest in some protection. That gang was not my wisest investment.
This is why you always ask for references.
You would need protection if you'd stop doing things that make people want to kill you.
Let me know if you're looking for anything in particular.
You sure? One moment.
Hold it, you!
Look left! Left leg! You're not looking good. On your rear. Let's go. Nice work.
One moment.
Not yet.
People come here to relax. I always admired painters. Get paid making pictures of things you can just go out and see with your eyes.
What'll it be?
Right behind you.
take much out here. Those are the papers the Adiran refugees are waiting for.
One moment.
If I didn't know better, I'd think you wanted to spend time with me.
This is an outrage. There has to be a logical explanation, sir.
High Market. A haven of opulence in an otherwise nice city.